What's up, PSGINT family? It's your boy PSGINT here. Of course, Princess was missing yesterday in the post-match podcast. And I asked you on Twitter, what do you think why Paris Saint-Germain lost versus Rennes? Of course, there are going to be a lot of troll comments here, but we're going to skip through them and answer these and see what people's honest reactions are after this game. So the first one, the midfield was not creative, so Messi and Neymar had to drop a bit deep, and we were running out of attacking power. I felt punch ball yesterday. Princess, what's your reaction to this comment? How do you feel about this comment? Do you agree? Disagree?
First of all, it's great to be back. Um, yeah, I just have to. I heard I missed a lot, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, you were missed. The Verratti of the podcast.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. My favorite player on this team. Okay, so what was it? The midfield is not creative, so Messi and Neymar had to drop a bit deep, and we were running out of attacking power. I felt potch ball yesterday. Um, he's not so off.
I mean, is that the narrative now? Every time we don't play well, that it's punch ball?
No, yeah, that's the only thing that I'm really disagreeing with. It's definitely it doesn't look like Poch ball. The midfield certainly doesn't look like Poch, but there are Poch like elements to it, and that's probably due to the lack of clinicality. But really, and also like Neymar, Messi having to go deep. But yeah,
I mean, midfield was not creative. Yeah, I agree, but
it
I
wasn't.
think some people like in the Angers game. Then I agree. Vitinha and Fabian should have done 10 times better job. But against Stade De Rennes, they were so tightly compact. They were so perfectly organized. There was no space in between the defense and the midfield. Even if Messi and Neymar stayed there, and even if they could feed them, it was really hard to feed them the ball in
Yep.
those kinds of areas. And I would rather say that we lacked speed, and our fullbacks didn't give us what we wanted from them. Like what we wanted was runs, them taking on the fullbacks of Stade Rennes and creating chances, which we didn't lack, which we lacked in this game. No Hakimi and no Nuno. Next.
Oh, shout out to
Didn't,
Vitinha, by the way. I think he's improved since the last game. So
oh, definitely, definitely,
yeah,
definitely. I
just
mean,
want to
he
point
was
that out.
trying. He felt a bit more
Mhm.
confident, which we love to see. Like when a player shows more confidence than the previous game, you support him, even though he's not met you what you expect from him. But you support him because he gave himself a confidence boost. You give him another confidence boost. Didn't watch the game, but I think if Verratti wasn't playing, uh, I mean, that could be said for any game. I mean, that just tells you how good Marco Verratti is. We will always miss Marco Verratti. That's just how good he is. That's how good he is. And sometimes we can see the same thing with Neymar and Messi, but it's mostly when we miss both of them that we lack absolute creativity and attack. And it's just that we still don't have a world-class midfielder at Paris Saint-Germain. Vitinha, he will evolve into one. Warren, probably. But at the moment, we don't have someone that's close to Verratti's level at Paris Saint-Germain. That's why he will, every time he's not there, of course, we will miss him.
Oh, Verratti was definitely missed yesterday. Um, yeah, as usual, like you said, missed deeply. And when we miss Verratti and then some, like Verratti plus
The
like Neymar,
fullbacks and
Messi and
Mbappe.
stuff,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like no, that we look like complete dumpster fire like that because we have absolutely no creativity left. But you know, it's Verratti and Nuno not being there that really hurt. It hurt us in the last few games.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, and even Mbappe, the threat that he has behind the line, as we saw against running that chance. Waiting here for no Messi, no party clowns. Yeah, listen, people said that after what the Arsenal defeat. Yeah. Listen, Messi is Paris Saint-Germain's best player. Same thing with Verratti. Same thing can be said for Messi. You're always gonna miss your best players, but
Seriously, yeah.
that doesn't matter. absence of creative midfielders. Even Paredes was somewhat solid at creating chances at times, and Di Maria should not have been let go. He was sensational World Cup final, dribbling extremely quick with feet as well as pure pace. Guy has given Kunde forever nightmare. I hate this opinion. Like, there's a reason Di Maria didn't stay. Di Maria is still an elite, world-class elite player. We all know that. Paris Saint-Germain know that. But if you look at him at Juventus this season, first of all, he's missed more than 50% of the games. Second of all, he's inconsistent. And third of all, he had a high wage. So the reason we got rid of Di Maria, it was not because he was shit. Sarabia would let go because he was shit. Di Maria, it wasn't because he was shit. It was just there were too many obstacles. As I said, inconsistency, injury prone, and high wage.
It was his injuries, and also the fact that he's as he was aging, of course the quality was decreasing, and even if he still pulls out with something like an assist or a goal or whatever, you could still see that there was a drop, and also he wouldn't be getting so much playing time with the wages that he had. At Juventus, when he plays, he's good for them, but
he's the main man at Juventus.
He has to be, and you know what? I don't blame them. He's great. But like, he's been injured more than he's been fit. So there's also that. My issue though is that Di Maria, the thing, when you let a player like Di Maria go, someone who's been there for so long and who contributes significantly, and you don't replace them, not with a like for like, because that never works for us. We've tried. But for someone who's effective as a right winger or someone who can fill in that spot, you're left with nostalgia. You're left thinking about, damn, why did we let him go? My thing is, I think the sentence should be rephrased. We shouldn't have let Di Maria go without finding his replacement first, or at least thinking about one.
100%, 100%.
I mean, we did have one, but
yeah, he's also gone now. He's a replacement. He's also gone. But then he also brings up Di Maria. Like, Di Maria, in this game, maybe wouldn't have been close to where he was in the final because Di Maria is a big game player. Like, Di Maria in big games performs. We've seen that for Argentina. We've seen that for Paris Saint-Germain. But consistency in the league, what I remember from Di Maria last season at PSG was not good. I remember the Nice game, which we lost, where I think Neymar, Princess, he gave him 2 1v1 chances. And he missed both of them. And at that time, I was like, yeah, he's just not on par of what we expect from him, what we want for a player with that kind of wage and all of that. Midfield is poor and trash. Renato Sanchez is a waste signing in Galtier's system. Also, Eminem cannot work unless you got a fluid midfield. Pochettino vibes all around. Back to square one.
We're not back to square one.
Back to square one. It's impossible to go back to square one.
This is more like square 3. We're not back to square 1.
You can say it goes up and downs like a roller coaster. You can never say back to square one. We're not back where we were last season.
Definitely not.
Over 40 games now in 2 different new systems that we didn't use last season. We have new players with different qualities than we had last season. Definitely not. What do you think about Renato Sanchez? Is a weight signing in Galtier's system?
With signings, you take risks, right? You gamble on them doing well, and the thing with Renato is that he's had prior experience with both Gautier and Campos, so they thought that they were probably taking less of a risk, by getting him. The only risk for them was his injuries. He hasn't acclimated well. He started off great in his first game, but it's been poor ever since, to the point where they don't place him that high up the hierarchy. So I don't know. It sucks. It didn't work, or it's not working. Hopefully something will get better. I don't know. I still think that there's some time for him to really get back, but
and all these comments about midfield being trash. Like, first of all, we're missing Marco Verratti, which is by far our best midfielder and the player that knows this club, knows his teammates better than all of them. Vitinha, this is his first season at Paris Saint-Germain, and he's young, unexperienced. and then we have a 16-year-old Warren. You seeing that lineup and then expecting our midfield to be amazing, that's again, it's stupid expectations you put. When I saw Vitinha Warren, I was like, listen, Warren, this is his first start in Ligue 1. Let's just hope the best for him. And Vitinha, let's hope for an improvement than last performance. It's all about the expectations you put on the players. And then you get a reaction for why you think about it. Oh man, the midfield looks more fragile with each passing day, and I won't be wrong if I say it's worse than the last season. But it's still expected. As your SD Sporting Director Paris is selling Paredes to make room for his compatriots.
I disagree with this completely. It doesn't look worse. I actually thought it looked better than the previous games.
Yeah, and it's worse than last season. Like
No, that
people forget. People forget last season.
Oh my God, I
this
wish.
season you can say we have a bad midfield. Last season we didn't have a midfield.
I wish I can forget some of that. Honestly, I do. When you think back, some of those games look like blurs to me. Like it's just a big blur, especially when it comes to midfield. The midfield was where we lost a lot of games. And I think this is an upgrade, but it's still not where we would
want
like
it to be. Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of these the midfielders like Vitinha and stuff, and if you add Warren in there, they're young. They can still get better. They're not rigid. They're not stuck in their ways. There's room. There's a ceiling, you know? So last year we were dealing with midfielders that were past their best or that were past that age where you can mold them to be something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're in a better position. It just needs to be, you just work at it.
And then saying Sporting Director prioritized selling Paredes to make rooms for his compatriots. What?
Prioritize selling Paredes. They gave him chances though. It's not like Gautier didn't pay him in preseason.
Yeah, like this is a messy. First of all, you saw Paredes at the World Cup. He was benched because he was ass.
Benched too after that Saudi Arabia game.
And Paredes at Paris Saint-Germain, it's always been 2 good games followed by 5 bad games. It's always been like that. And from your midfield and centre backs, you don't want inconsistent performances because those are too crucial. Like if an attacker has inconsistent performances, for example, Mbappe, that's not the worst thing to happen. But when a midfielder has inconsistent performances, that's a huge deal. And saying that he make room for his compatriots, no, Vitinha was an upgrade on Paredes. Vitinha this season has performed better than Paredes has ever done for Paris Saint-Germain. And Vitinha hasn't even been that good and consistent this season. Very huge L take. No passion mentality. We need players that are hungry to win. I think at the moment, yes, mentally as a unit, as a team, we're not at our strongest because most players just came back. And we have seen this in other teams. You could say the same thing for Real Madrid, a team that recently won the Champions League against Barca in that final. They look toothless. You could say the same thing for them. The players haven't. It's like, Princess, before we were all together in Paris Saint-Germain, then the TTs went to the under-19. The bench players, they were together and had vacation. And then the most of the starting 11, they all went to one nation. Some went to Portugal, some went with the Spanish national team. And now they all need to get back and get that chemistry, get that unity back. So I can agree that maybe we're not playing at 100% team unity, 100% everyone together. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do see it because you remember like during the friendlies and also you can add the Coupe de France games, you could see the chemistry building amongst the bench players or like the TTs and stuff. You can see them getting used to each other. Whereas like when the league game started, we're back to, looking disassembled. It's It's like
Yeah, because half of them are starters and half of them are bench players.
they don't know each other as much. It's well, even when they know each other, there's no like you can't close your eyes and pass it and expect your teammate to be there even though they try doing that with back passes and stuff and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's because they don't have that intuitive feeling of I know where this person is going to be like the back of my hand. That's something that a lot of Ligue 1 teams like Lens and Rennes have had since the World Cup.
Mm.
And teams like that, they've had a few players go to the World Cup as well, but it's not like practically all their starters.
Yeah.
So, there's that. And the TTs, they have that connection with each other for years, and they're young, so it's what they're used to. They pass to each other. They trust each other.
And one important thing you have to look at this Paris Saint-Germain squad if you compare it to other big teams. This is Donnarumma's second season. This is Hakimi's second season. This is Ramos. You can maybe even call it Ramos' first season because he was injured so much last season. This is Danilo's first season as a starting centre back. This is Nuno Mendes' second season. This is Vitinha's first season. This is Lionel Messi's second season. This is Hakimi's second season. Most of our players haven't played a while with each other. If you look at the Real Madrid team, for example, that won the three-peat, it wasn't like all of that teams were bought in 1-2 seasons and they won. Ronaldo, Benzema were signed in 09. Modric in what? 09, something like that, 010 or something. So it takes time. That's why we just need to trust the players that we have and give them time and so they can gel more together.
And the youth, they're younger players, they're more newer players. They're coming into an already established environment with players who have been there for years, who built that chemistry, and all they have to do is play to that standard and also trust the experienced players.
Exactly.
Trust those who have already, fought their way through several times, who have achieved what they're trying to achieve. That's why, it's that trust, it's that friendship. I think that was something that started to form in the beginning of the season. That friendship is a lot more fractured now. And I think that does have impact on how they play, especially towards, the middle of the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So, but when it comes to passion and mentality, passion is there. I think the environment weighs it down. And so you panic when things don't go your way instead of trying to find a way to push through it. The ones who really have that ability to push through are the ones who haven't been scarred by past experiences as well.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Pessy ghosted.
That's just a troll
Yeah.
philosophy academy.
Moral of the story: Philosophy Academy scouting oil money.
Didn't we see? Here's the thing. We
Oil,
did that.
We were an oil money club, if you want to call it that, even if Qatar produces gas and not oil.
It's gas.
We were that in like maybe 14, 15, 2013, 12, 13 season when we just got taken over. But ever since maybe the 15, 16 season, something like that, Paris Saint-Germain have been a self-sufficient club, which means that we only use money that the club generates. We haven't used money out of Nasser's pocket. Even the Neymar and Mbappe deals, that wasn't Nasser's pocket. That wasn't Qatar Investments' pocket. That was the club.
No, but the thing is, the academy and the scouting and stuff,
That
isn't
just
that what we
started.
tried to do? Like, it's not like we haven't tried to do in the past either. It's just like it happens in increments, But isn't that what we're trying to do right now? Isn't that what's putting us in that situation right now? Like, academy, didn't we start Warren?
Yeah, and scouting, like Vitinha.
Like,
Vitinha was a scouting player. Like if we
he
had
was.
a sporting director like Leonardo Antero Enrique, Vitinha would never be a Paris Saint-Germain player because he doesn't suit what they're looking for at a player. They look more for experience, for big name, for all of that.
Yeah,
But
for more
Vitinha
than
will
one reason. Too, there's
exactly.
marketing as well, yeah.
But Rennes missing Verratti and Nuno plus Neymar stinking nowadays. Yeah,
We
instead
did
of
get
saying
outplayed.
stinking nowadays, you can just say that after the World Cup, Neymar has not been the Neymar we have seen before. But listen, that can happen to any player. That can happen to any player. And it feels like Neymar is injured. He has been holding his ankle for a lot of times. And
Shout out to Rennes. That's one thing I don't think
a lot of people
they
do.
weren't
Yeah.
they weren't given as much credit. People kept looking at it as a reflection of how bad we were. Don't let us being bad distract you from how incredibly on point Rennes was that entire game. That entire game. We had one shot on target. They
Yeah,
perfected that low block. They are our boogeymen, first of all. So I didn't really get shocked by their them losing key players and things like that. It didn't matter to me because I know that they'll show up anyway. They'll always show
yeah.
up when it's PSG. Always. And our horrible we have a bad track record against them anyway, so them playing
Yeah,
at home with all those fireworks and whatever, like that doesn't come on.
at their home ground, I think we have lost 3 consecutive games or 4.
We
Something like
drew
that.
okay.
This season we
We
lost.
lost
Last
last
season we
season, we
lost.
lost, and then we drew the season before that. It was a
And then
2-2.
and then the game before we lost.
Yeah,
Wasn't that the game
I
where I
believe
think
so.
Neymar missed a pen, Kimpembe got a red card when he tackled Doku? Like
No, that was the
or that was that draw?
no, because Kimpembe got a red card
Yeah.
the last
That
time
was the season
we
where we
lost.
lost the league.
Yes, that was where Kimpembe got a red.
Was that 2-2?
That was a 2-2.
Okay. Yeah, so
But
we don't.
Ren got a red too, I think, because it was a
Okay.
tackle on Kurzawa. I remember because like I think the studs on his boot pierced through Kurzawa's sock, and they had to
Yeah.
VAR that. I remember that. That was rough. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was after we
So
lost the Champions League too. Bad.
yeah, Rem played better, and of course you're gonna miss Marco Verratti and Nuno Mendes, and yeah, Neymar in the past 2 games especially has not been nowhere good, nowhere near what we expect from. Where's midfield out of all top teams in world? No press.
Well, if you feel that this game had no press, I wonder what you feel about Angers.
Yeah, and but the midfield part, it's like because Paris Saint-Germain. Listen, Paris Saint-Germain before maybe the last 2 seasons, we didn't have any good wing backs or midfield. Last season we fixed up the fullbacks, Nuno and Hakimi. And now this summer we try to fix the midfield. We bought Vitinha, we bought Fabian, we bought Renato. No one has really, taken a place in the starting 11, become a 100% starter alongside Marco Verratti. So I maybe can agree with that, yeah, because most teams have actually thought of fixing their midfield, and because they know how important the midfield is. If you look at all Champions League winning side, it's mostly because of their amazing midfield, and I could agree with that. Or midfields as
This is getting repetitive.
because they're finished. Terrorism in the midfield. Very bad at creating chances from the center. Even worse at creating chances from crosses. The only way we mostly score is by individual brilliance.
I mean, individual brilliance has helped us during those low block teams when we play.
Yeah, it's mostly about. You can say that we're bad at creating chances against low block.
We do. We
yeah, but just saying we're bad at creating chances, definitely not. Paris Saint-Germain Paris Saint-Germain have the highest XG of any team in the top 5 leagues of Europe. I'm not saying that we're best at team, best attacking or something. I'm just saying that we definitely create chances. Just against low blocks, it's very hard, and yeah, it's as simple as that. And yeah, creating chances from the center is literally impossible against teams that have most of their players centrally, as Stade De Rennes yesterday and Juventus had previously. And creating chances from crosses, yeah, that's definitely one thing Paris Saint-Germain need to improve, and that's mostly because we've never had good fullbacks, but now we're trying to fix that problem this season at least. I mean, we have
They're
more chances
unavailable.
created from crosses this season than we've had in the past seasons.
Yes.
Like Angers, that was a Mukiele chance to Ikitika. We've had someone with Hakimi and so on. So we're getting better at it. Nuno as well, Bernard.
Yeah.
Below mid without him.
Mm.
Like, I don't like this. Of course.
Yeah, no, it's getting repetitive. Just keep going.
No, below him. Finish club, that midfield. Your midfielders and passing back. Why can't they make passes between the lines? It's because they're not on that confidence level. It takes a lot of. It's hard to pass between the lines. I'm not saying that they should. Giving them an excuse. I'm just saying. Vitinha recently came to the club, has had a roller coaster season so far, has been good, sometimes been bad, sometimes. And yeah, he's trying his best. He's trying his best when it comes to that. Of course, when Marco Verratti plays, we don't have this issue because, yeah, he's the best player to pass in between the lines. Warren is 16, so you really can't expect that much. But it was mostly because Stade Rennes were marking between the lines. Like, there was no space. Even if they got the ball to Messi and Neymar between the lines, it was too compact for them to do anything from that space.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an answer to that, Princess? Why can't they make passes between the lines?
I wish my issue is the passing back, and I've expressed that several times. I do think that okay, maybe there's probably some progression in that in the last game, barely, maybe, but even in the games before that, I felt like it was a huge, huge issue. Um,
100%. I mean,
yeah,
we're
I just don't
seeing
think we've
players
fixed it.
pointing where you should pass. We're seeing
Oh,
Messi and
they
Neymar
give
literally
each other
calling for it.
Mo, that's the
Uh,
crazy part because they're telling them to do one thing. They're telling
and
each other to do it, and they're doing a completely different thing. They pass it back anyway. Even Gaultier, like you can see him giving direction as well. There were times when we rewatched the game. There were times where Bernat was open completely, but they just
yeah,
chose to pass it back
it's like when
to the center
when
back.
they don't have the ball, then they know what to do. Oh, as soon as they get the ball, they feel so much pressure. It's like a hot potato. They're like, all right,
That's
back
the
pass.
midfield does that. The midfield does that the most. Like especially
Remember,
Fabian, he treats it like a hot potato. It's bad when midfielders like have no intention about where they're passing the ball and like
they should be
whom
the
they're
opposite.
passing it to.
The midfielders should be the players that do not treat the ball as a hot potato. They should treat it as a gift to the attackers.
Yeah, it's
Like, oh, I just got
chaotic.
the ball. Where's Messi?
Mm.
And it's not like Messi and Neymar aren't showing themselves. They're always showing themselves. Not maybe every possible moment, but most of the time they're showing themselves. So that's 100% a thing that Paris Saint-Germain need to improve. PSG midfield and defense have several inherent problems, but for this particular loss, Galcher is the problem. I have a question, hardcore Messi. So Paris Saint-Germain really didn't concede a big chance the entire game. I mean, you can call the Kalimundo chance a big chance, but it was straight at Donnarumma. But apart from that, their goal and then the chance that Mbappe had. If Hakimi had won that duel, then it wouldn't have been a goal for them. And if Mbappe had scored this chance, Paris Saint-Germain would have been up, or at least 1-1. So I can't blame the loss on Galter, but I can blame us not performing to our best on Galter. Princess, do you see where I'm coming from? Like, I
I
wouldn't
get what
blame
you
the
mean.
loss, but I can blame that our performance was worse because of some decisions by him.
I agree. That's what I was gonna say. Like he takes a piece of the puzzle. And he's not the whole thing. It's not like a major problem, but he contributes to it. So I would agree with you. Um there are individual mistakes that also contribute to the loss as well. Like, there's only so much a coach can make you do.
Mm,
He
mm,
like,
mm.
for an example, when we conceded that goal, like, that was an individual error,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It
I
was
mean, you can say that you don't like the formation at all. That's a valid point, I mean, that you can make, but, mm, I mean,
blaming it entirely on that.
not
That's
everything.
deluded. Yeah, yeah. Mm, PSG club boys.
Shout out
Passing in
to
all facts.
Ethan.
Yeah, passing in all facets was very
Facets.
poor, and defensive marking was subpar, as it has been the last few matches. When the midfield tried progressive passes, which they rarely did, they were almost always off target. Walls also should have played with a three-man midfield with four at the back.
To have that control in the midfield, I think you do need to
Mm.
have 3 midfielders.
Yeah, I don't understand how Galtier comes out and says, I wanted to play possession based as much as possible in this game, and that you don't play a three-man midfield. But maybe it's because he doesn't trust Fabian at the moment. And Verratti's missing. Renato was not fit to start, so like he didn't have players to start a three-man midfield. But it's still a question mark for me why he wanted to play possession but not that, and not a three-man midfield. And yeah, the passing. Yeah, definitely. The passing is too safe. Like we need to start taking more risks. That's for instance why we were so good in the beginning of the season. We were taking so many risks because the players were so confident in their abilities. We were taking risks all the time. That's why we scored so many goals and were so good. But now we're not
Hopefully
taking any risks.
hopefully there's a sign of that coming back because they have been more physical than they have been in the last few games
Perez,
against Rennes. They've been pressing a lot more, so you do see elements of that
players coming
coming back.
back.
Yeah.
Imagine if we start getting similar form to that. You're into the
Ufa,
buying.
please, if you just, like, give me even, like
Monaco 7-1.
oh, stop.
It's Monaco away
Just
as
give me
well.
a
That's
piece of
uh,
that. Just a piece of that, like,
mm,
right now, and then we'll slowly build into it, please, just
yeah. And it's a good thing that we have a pause now. It's a really good thing that we have a pause now in the season.
What's
To
our next league game?
Rennes.
Okay. Well, this time we actually have to win in that one, yeah. They have a
Yeah,
new coach.
right now in Ligue 1, like we really need to start winning games. We need to
Yeah.
separate ourselves because Lens and Marseille they're right behind us. And Galtier himself is poor in tactics. What did he change in second half? Bought too many waste midfielders and now ended up with no defender.
These are the options that we have, honestly.
Wait, I don't get it. Bought too many waste midfielders.
Okay, Renato
Does
came
he does he
on.
mean brought on?
No. Yeah, because Renato came on for Danilo, and then there was Fabian and Soler,
And what does ended up with no defender?
because we lost one of the third
Yeah, he subbed
our
out
center
Danilo.
backs. Yeah, he subbed out Danilo,
Yeah, because we
put
were going for the win.
Renato.
We're going to get a goal. We played what? I don't get it. We put more attacking players. If you think they're not good, I can agree. They didn't have like our substitutions had a really bad impact on the game. None of them played better than the player they subbed out.
Yeah,
So
definitely not,
yeah,
no,
Hakimi,
definitely
Mbappe,
not.
Soler, Renato. Who was the fifth?
Fabian.
Fabian. Like I don't remember anything. None of them did the entire game. Um, the Eminem ball was better than the greatest rivalry of all time, Classico.
Anyway, oh,
Rennes
friend.
exposed their tactical flaws. That's it. These flaws exist. It just depends on whether a team is good enough to see it. What?
Every team
I
has
don't get
tried.
this. Expose their tactical flaws. What Rennes
Dude,
did,
we've
they know that we have really hard troubles breaking a compact defensive side. Like
dude, every team pulls up with some variation of this. It's just that Rennes have stronger players. So I get what you mean when you say that, expose tactical flaws and depends on the team is good enough to see
mm.
it. No, they all see it. It's just execution. Rennes has always executed. All of these are Barca fans. What is going on? Don't you have a El Clasico that was going on around the same time? Because you still employment. All right, troll.
No, he's a. You don't have a good midfield, and Messi and Neymar have to drop deep.
All right, we've addressed this.
Yeah, I mean, some of these points, it's like, okay, Messi was playing in Hellet.
All right,
The three-man
the
defense was
Madrid
actually
fans.
the three-man defense was actually limiting the attack flow, and the midfielders played poorly. I don't think the midfielders played poorly, but they could have done much better. The three-man defense was actually limiting the attack flow. How?
I think the midfield.
Oh, maybe if switching a formation. Okay.
Okay, it's probably the
Yeah.
back three.
No midfield, no defense. Neymar playing 3 positions.
Yeah, this is all repeats of the same thing, same variation.
I thought they were not
They
clinical.
definitely finally something new.
Happens sometimes. Yeah, I mean, listen, shots on target, we only had 1, but chances where we could, or I expect my players to score or at least get a shot on target, we had. Like, so many Messi shots were blocked. Vitinha, Messi had some shots outside of the box. We had that Bernat chance, the Mbappe chance, of course. So yeah, I agree that if we were a bit clinical, the results could have been a totally different result.
Clinicality has always saved us.
Yeah.
Like, and there are games where we have played low block teams, and it was the individual brilliance and their ability to actually be lethal in attack.
Yeah.
That actually got us through. It got us through the game. Yeah, that was non-existent here. Completely non-existent. Midfield, I need a revamp. This was the revamp.
Yeah, this is a revamp, and we're at the beginning of it.
Okay, all right, go. Coach tactics. Guy's not good enough.
No one had the ambition to score. They just want to go home. They don't care too much. It's just one game. Midfield lack of vision. Hakimi fault in defense. Mbappe missed open shot. Actually, no big deal.
I actually don't see they just want to go home. These guys are not happy that they lost.
Yeah, I don't know what it's talking about. They don't care too much. Just one game.
No, they care. They definitely care.
Field lack vision. Yeah, Hakimi fault in defense. Mbappe missed an open shot. Actually, what does he mean? Actually, no big deal. Mbappe missed an open shot. Actually, no big deal.
I don't know. Get some midfielders. There's some.
We can't. We have no money. We have no money. We have no money. I can repeat again. We have no money.
Whatever. Warren, do your thing. Midfield can't play ball.
3-4-3 is a disaster, just as what's happening with Chelsea.
Don't compare Chelsea. Two different scenarios.
That's a very bad example. Mbappe missing this chance.
Yeah, it's pretty big chance to miss. Go ahead.
Oh, because I asked, why do you think we lost against Rennes? And if Mbappe had slotted this chance, it's true.
It would have been at least a draw. I would have been okay with the draw after this.
At least a draw, and who knows, maybe we could have been more motivated to get a win. And Rennes had lost some of their confidence in that game. There was no chemistry in the team. Change the coach. Also replace Soler, Fabian Ruiz, Marquinhos. Change the coach. Like, people have to understand, just because we lost, second loss right now of the season, you can't just jump on the coach. I've given this example. It's like you're with a girlfriend and then something bad happens and the first idea that pops in your head is breaking up instead of fixing what's broken or forgiving or doing something to it. Breaking up is giving up. Soler, Fabian Ruiz. I mean, both of them didn't do anything this game, so I don't know why you brought them up talking about this game. And Marquinhos, no. And again, can people please stop talking about transfers? We have a good enough starting 11. But the bench, but as I said, we don't have the facilities to go around and sign players like some Premier League teams are doing. Awful team.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Mm,
Neymar dropping too deep to create chances. There was zero ball progression from our midfielders. It wasn't a good game from Messi either. Too many back passes from Vitinha. Neymar was very poor last night as well. In summary, if Neymar and Messi play a poor game, then we suffer.
we do.
Offensively, 100%. 100, like
Offensively,
defensively,
we suffer.
yeah,
Yeah.
defensively, I didn't think we were bad this game. But offensively, yeah, and yeah, both Neymar and Messi are now 100% to their game, and none of them had a performance that we expect from them. So I mean, this is an okay comment. It's another factor that needs to be considered. The most players, aside from the Argentinians and those that weren't in the World Cup, have been performing well. However, everyone else seems like shadow of themselves. Mbappe on a good day burst that. Marquinhos lost his form in midfield.
What? Hold on.
Aside from the Argentines,
We only have one Argentine. Or I think they're
yeah,
speaking generally.
okay.
That's none of my business. I'm
Oh,
worried
because
about
they
one
won.
Argentine.
So
Yeah,
we say
I'm.
besides because they won the World Cup, so it's like they're not fit. But no, it also has affected them. Like they weren't in the World Cup having. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say yeah. Most
Yeah.
players are a shadow of themselves. I mean that's yeah. Okay.
Well, Mbappe is resuming what he was doing before the World Cup, which was average. I mean, it wasn't average, but it was good, but it's not. You expect more.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think Marquinhos has been that bad. Like, I don't think he's as bad as everybody is making him out to be.
I think it's the two moments. It's the own goal versus Strasbourg, and then it's when Openda dropped him because that's been everywhere on
No,
TikTok,
the
on Instagram
Openda
Shorts, everywhere.
Openda dropping him is one thing. The own goal though is, I think, it's a little bit harsh. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's just stuff that happens. Like
Yeah,
he
there
did
was
everything
nothing he
right
could
there.
have
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
He couldn't have done anything else. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think he's lost his form actually. I think he's been stronger
Mm-mm-mm.
actually. Yeah.
Because they don't score.
All right.
Okay.
Didn't
Yeah.
offer anything. We didn't already know.
Since our
Um
three stars stopped shining, the issues in the team became more visible than ever. 4 bad games since the restart, no improvement. Galti has to find an answer tactical or reinforcement. Um, 4 bad games since the restarts, yeah. But saying no improvement, I definitely don't agree with that. Um, and yeah, offensively, Eminem have scored and assisted 90% of Paris Saint-Germain goals. So yeah, when we missed them offensively, when we the thing is, it's not just how that they're really good. It's also because the players that we play instead, the Sarabia, the Soler, they're nowhere close to them, both on the field and with numbers statistically. Um, yeah, if any team had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and all of them missed games, or two of them missed a game, then that's the thing that would happen to everyone. But I definitely don't agree with saying no improvement. There's been slight improvement, not a huge improvement, but you can never go from really bad to amazing in one game, in 2 games, in 3 games. It takes a bit of time. And God has to find an answer. Tactical reinforcement won't happen, but tactical may be. Yeah. Princess, do you think he should keep on with the flexibility of 2 formations, or should he stick with 1 formation?
I think the reason why he had two formations is so he can have that flexibility to go back and forth and having that you can never find out what I'm gonna pull out next. It's like
Yeah,
having
because
another trick in the
some
bag.
people, most people don't seem to enjoy that. They want 1 formation, mostly the 4-3-1-2.
Okay, but the thing is, the way everything is set up in the league is that once you become too predictable, you lose your mystique.
Your
You
spark,
you lose your spark because everybody now you're gonna become too predictable. Like, opponents study our team. They watch, they study the team, and they find what they feel is a perfect way to stop us from winning. Um, so when you have people watching you so closely, you can't be so repetitive. That's why everybody can defend,
And
against
I mean,
our attackers.
talk about the flexibility. I remember against Lorient when we came up against them. They were in hot form. They were like third in the league at that time, and they expected us to go with the usual 4-3-1-2 that we played. But Galtier switched to 5 at the back in that game,
It's the
and that
same
made
with
us
Marseille.
perform really well against them. Yeah, and it
It was-
shocked them, which made us perform so well.
Right. So I think that's why he's going to continue to experiment. I mean, it's fine to see change, but also like when that doesn't work, try to find a way to like find
And the
something
thing
that's
is, well,
familiar.
you say we have had 4 bad games since the restart. He's tried 2 different formations. It's not like Galtier has just stuck the same. No, he's tried different stuff. He's benched Fabian, started Warren. Like he's tried different stuff. And I think Galtier saw this first period with not everyone back as an experimental period, preparing up for the rest of the season. So yeah, I mean, we will see what happens. Dead midfield without Verratti, we can't continue like this. Can someone please explain to me how this team can win the UEFA Champions League? Listen, we don't care
You
about
don't
that.
need to
Yeah, we don't have an answer to that. We
say it.
don't.
Like seriously, why is everybody putting all this pressure on us? There are other teams that you can add pressure
Just
to.
because we have Eminem, that has
All right,
destroyed us. It's
well,
because we have Eminem. Our midfield sucks, and
it's about everything being right now and stuff like
mm,
that.
mm,
I get
mm.
it, but
Our
it's
midfield
unhealthy.
sucks, and we can't control the game. Therefore, it doesn't have that defense neither. I don't get it. Why are people acting like we didn't control a lot of major parts of the game against Stade De Rennes? Like people, it's like you didn't want. What happened against Stade De Rennes? It was like the 15 first minutes. It was Rennes. They played better then because that's what most teams do when they're at home. Those first 50 minutes with the home ground advantage, they tried to go for an early goal. They didn't get it, and then for most of the game, it was us who just. It was really hard for us to penetrate them, and then they got some counter-attack chances, and that's how they got their goal. But we not 100% control the game, but we controlled it enough to not say that we didn't control the game.
The
Because
first half we actually did.
Yeah. It was just that shot on target. We just couldn't penetrate. Like even some shots were taken, but they made really good blocks. Because Rennes played better than PSG. Yeah.
They did.
No organization whatsoever. Very slow build up. Neymar is an active player. Lack of courage in creating chances, depending on solo runs and long ball against a very organized team. Well, that's what you do against a very organized team. In conclusion, Galtier out to save what's left of the season and UEFA.
Oh my gosh. Again with this UEFA.
Well, so if we get a new manager now, he's gonna just like the Tuchel effect at Chelsea, just turn us around and we win the Champions League.
Chelsea ruined some of the mindsets of a lot of these fans.
Yeah, because they now believe that.
Yeah,
half of the season has went is not good. Change, you win CL, or you have a higher chance.
Are we forgetting that we also had sacked a coach midway through the season?
And I mean, in the chat, we lost the league that season, and yeah, Poch took us a bit far in the CL, but that's not a sustainable thing. Like after that, Poch was ass. After that, Tuchel was sacked. Keeping Galtier is the most sustainable thing for the future. Like we don't want to become this season all or nothing. Like I'm tired of that. We have seen that season after season after season after season.
Yeah, it's quite.
We have to try something new. We've always been like that. We're playing like a depressed group of players.
Probably are. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's not like happy rainbow sunshine as it was in the beginning of the season. Now it's a bit rainy. It's a bit depressing music, but
it was physically raining.
Yeah, this is a place where we just support them, and they will get back to it.
It was actually raining too, so.
When you realize the scoring from a Messi pass will cement his Ballon d'Or chances. Can't even win against small farmers, finished club.
Eh, moral of the story.
Don't trade Rico Mista for Vitinha.
Oh, shut up! It's the Argentinian fans too. Please
Like
spare
Paredes
me.
was
I
stinking
don't
for
want.
Argentina. I
No,
don't
don't
get
even
it.
waste your time. Don't even waste your time. Just go down.
Midfield is full of mediocre players who can't break lines to do something unpredictable. Ramos and Marquinhos are ass with the ball. Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, yeah, our midfielders couldn't break the lines.
yeah, the break the
But
lines part is true, but it's
yeah,
they're not mediocre.
and Ramos and Marquinhos are ass with the ball. It depends on what expectations you put on. Depend on what expectation. Like, do you want them to put long balls? There was no pace in behind where they could put long balls. If you're talking about progressive passes from the centre backs, maybe. Lack of a player making proper forward runs from Messi or Neymar to find. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Ekitike should be making more runs, but I think it's all about this adaptation period for him becoming a number 9 because he wasn't inverted forward before. He was almost as a left winger, left forward before. So, and yeah, and the fullbacks. But listen, we know that Bernat is not good enough. We just know that. Waiting for Nuno to come back. And Mukiele did his best, but we all know that Hakim could have done a better job if he had started and was fit. Well, is this the end of the world? I don't think so. It isn't. This is just a bad phase. This is a bad period, which happens to anybody, any person, any company, any institution. And now what the club, the players need to do is start looking up, start thinking optimistic, and start being more confident that the sun will start shining on us even more in the future, in the upcoming games. And it's a good thing now that Paris Saint-Germain will go and play the friendly versus Al Nassr. Go to Doha, have training there, go have a match in Saudi, then come back. Then we'll play a Coupe de France games where most of our starting players will probably not play that game. So it's a bit of a mental meditation rest for the players. They can start evaluating what they want, what they need to improve on. Hopefully, Galtier and Campos can have some talks with them, and hopefully that trip to Doha and Saudi Arabia can really clear their mind and make them more into a group. Do you remember, Princess, when we were in Japan?
Yeah.
Weren't they celebrating someone's birthday or something?
No, it was Marco's 10-year. No, hold on.
It
Yeah,
was something.
it was
Campos
Marco's
was there
10-year.
cheering and everything.
Yeah, they were celebrating a milestone for Marco.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
need
it
to
was
do
his
something
birthday.
like that. Something that gets them more together. Because,
What
as I said,
milestone?
they were distant. They were distant. The Titus went one way. The bench players, they had vacation and went one way. And then we had the starting players who mentally switched. Instead of focusing on PSG, they focused on their national teams. And now they need to come back and start focusing on the club and the club's goal. So
They can celebrate Mbappe's 200th game and Danilo's 100th
Dylan
game.
100th.
I mean, I
Messi's
don't know if
World
they're gonna
Cup.
have a cake for that, but Messi's world. No, but they already did that. It becomes forced if it's not like
Yeah.
real. You know,
Is it the end of the world, Princess?
no.
Are we getting cooked by Bayern?
I hope not. I don't
No, the
think so.
chances of us getting cooked result-wise against Bayern is 0%. 0%. Paris Saint-Germain have never gotten cooked in the Champions League. Apart from that, 6-1. That's the only time Paris Saint-Germain have been cooked from what I can remember in the Champions League, result-wise.
There's a game to show up on. It would definitely be that one.
Yep. Well, 6 games up to that game, 1 friendly, 1 Coupe de France, and then 4 Ligue 1 games. Let's hope Paris Saint-Germain can win all of those games comfortably, and that we see improvements game by game up till that Bayern game.
Yeah.
All right, I think that was enough for us today. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below. Is there anything you agree with us? Is there anything you disagree with us? Do you think we are too calm? Do you think me and Princess are too calm? Should we be more stressed? Should we we be more this or something? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to the Paris Saint-Germain YouTube channel for daily Paris Saint-Germain content. And as usual, allez, allez, allez Paris.